Good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. And this video is being made for the members of my mentorship, just to kind of give them some insights into what I'm seeing in the market. So we took a QQQ trade yesterday, and at the end of the day, I let you guys know that on the daily, I do believe we had bounced off of the 200 moving average, and that we would probably get another pass at that 200 moving average before we could potentially take some bullish trades. I have not read a lot of news this morning, but back home in my space, and so I'm able to focus on some analysis and kind of get caught up on some things. And so this is just a video to give you guys some insights into what my thoughts are on what the market is doing technically. Again, I have not looked at a bunch of news today. So I get the impression that it is time for us, though I'm sure most of us would prefer to be scalpers and day traders, to start to look at some higher time frame charts. So you know that you frequently hear me talk about, I would say 3 Fibonacci levels: the 886 level, the 0.5 level, and definitely the 200 moving average. So because we are on the daily at this 200 moving average, I got the inclination that in order to find out or to figure out what we do here next, I should probably go up to some higher time frame charts. When I did that, what I saw was, or what I was reminded of, was that I think we need to go to the 0.5 Fibonacci level. These are some really old fibs from, I would assume, drawn in 2023. Yeah, I would assume that this Fibonacci was drawn in 2023. Oh no, actually 2021, because this is the high that it's using. So this is a very old Fibonacci. But what you see here is that from this old fib, we've hit the 0.5 level, which is our second profit target. And after that second profit target, we do get a significant retrace. So let's just peek at the monthly really quick. Our 21 is at 447.44. Does that align with, that is actually deeper than our 50 fib level. Our 50 fib level is at 460. So that will kind of align with our 618 Fibonacci level, which does make sense. So I said, let me take us a peek at SPY, see what SPY looks like. As you can see on SPY, we have quite a few old fibs as well, but we've basically done the same thing, which is hit that or be rejected at, bounce at that second profit target, which is our negative 0.5 fib level. So let's do the same thing on SPY that we done on QQQ and draw a fib on some old levels. I want to make sure. So on SPY, we bounced at the 7.9. And once again, we're at our second profit target, which tells me that we need to come back to the 50 fib level. And that is at 532.33. So that stuff has got to go. Let's just hide it. Not expecting that we will go higher right now. I think that we continue lower. I don't think that we're just going to rip straight to those levels. there will be some consolidation in these fib levels. We will probably track down into the 50 Fibonacci level, consolidate here. But I do think that our eventual minimum target to the lower side is our 50 fib level at 532.33. So having looked at these two, that prompted me to say, well, let me see what Bitcoin is doing. Because for me, that is kind of a barometer for the overall market. And what I see here is, again, we've gone kind of beyond that second profit target, but we did go right to the 50, and we bounced hard off of that level. So that's just kind of confirmation of what I was seeing on QQQ and SPY. I was in the airport from 5:30 a.m. yesterday until I think about 5:30 p.m. My flight actually did board and leave. And so I missed my exit on our QQQ scalp yesterday. But I'm going to be looking to roll that today to a contract that's further out and will allow me to get possibly down to this 50 fib level. I haven't looked at anything else, but let's just look at the watch list while we're here. So back to normal in that over 2/3 of this watch list is red and pre-market. Let's see if there's anything. Of course, China is holding its own. So let's see if there is anything else that is on the incline this morning. Chinese stocks. I think YME is a Chinese stock. About 75% sure. QFIN, IQ, definitely Chinese. Holo, Chinese. So it appears that if you want to catch a bullish trade, you would probably need to do that out of China. So this is the other possibility that I mentioned at the end of the day yesterday, that when we get to the 200 moving average, there typically is a reversal. But now we were on the QQQ daily when we saw that. This has retraced. ZS, just for example, has retraced to its to its weekly 200 moving average. So if QQQ were to do the same thing, that would be kind of damning because it is way down here. Let's just peek at what the likelihood is of that. Obviously, I think that is highly unlikely, but I do believe we'll get to the 20 or 21, and again to the 50 Fibonacci level. Let's see what else is bullish. So right now, China is bullish. And then penny stocks. Penny stocks are having a fair bounce here. But I've been kind of watching them trade back and forth. Some of them have been up 25, 40%. And then the next day they will drop down 10%. But it is overall an incline. Let's just look at that list. So one of our mentorship members was at the live training, and I promised her that I would send the penny stock list, so I will put that in the chat. But nothing is doing a whole lot this morning. What else can or should we look at? Let's look at some of the MAG7. So things were starting to look like maybe we were getting double bottoms or inverse head and shoulders at some of these levels. I know Amazon was having some positive news. So to me, this is a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. And this is just a retrace into the moving average. But remember, what I keep constantly repeating is your first indication of a potential reversal is that it will trade through the moving average and then back to it. And then it will take out the second moving average. And it may take both of them out at the same time, but it trades back into them. And we can expect to go to the 200 moving average. But I want you guys to be mindful of the fact that that would not produce a higher high here, and that for the most part, these trades that we'll be taking or we'll be calling, unless somebody says otherwise, are going to be at best day trades, but better scalps, because what happens consistently is typically in a day, a stock doesn't move up or down, it moves up and down. So you have to catch either this move 9:45 to 10:15, then we get consolidation, but then we get another move down. So you have to be prepared to swing, or to just take one of these moves, 30 minutes, maybe an hour at best, and then get out, take your profit. So let's see. Amazon, I think, based on the hourly, may be a trade to the 200 moving average today at around 214. It's going to take some wonderful news for that to happen. But if we look at higher time frames, our 50 is at 198.65. If we get some negative news, we'll be back at that level on the monthly. Our next level is 205.38. So just based on the candle and the position of the stochastic, that is highly possible on Amazon. You can't quite trade the market 100% technical because it is being so influenced by the news. And you can't trade it 100% based on the news because the technicals still matter. So let's look at Apple on these higher time frames. NVIDIA, I believe, is another barometer of the market, and so we'll take a look at that one as well. Let's see. So we've not yet gone to the 886 on this chart. Plug my laptop up. We've not yet gone to the 886 on this chart, which I do think we kind of need to do. That will put us at 255. And I would expect that if we, or when we do that, we're going to get another retrace down. So let's reverse this fib. Try to figure out where I actually watched a Fibonacci training from bar chart in the airport yesterday, hoping that it would give me some new data on how to potentially train you guys on this better or make you more comfortable using it. But I didn't like it at all. It wasn't helpful. So we've retraced into the 50, consolidated, going to our first profit target. We certainly have to go back. Now, having been to that first profit target, we've been back to the 236 based on, and this is the weekly chart, based on our stochastic, our next level, if we don't continue to consolidate here, if we can't continue to find, that's not what I wanted. If we can't continue to find support at this level, obviously our next level is one of those other levels that is magnetic, in my opinion, the 0.50 fib. So the market is just overall very, very bearish. Into the 7.9. Have not gone to the first profit target. Not exactly to the 0.28 profit target, but we are basically back at the 50. So that's kind of confirmation of what I've been seeing and saying about the other charts that we looked at this morning. So just want to give you guys a peek back at this chart so that you can see exactly how I was drawing my fib and what I'm saying about the 50. And you can compare it to what has already occurred on NVIDIA. So just take a look there. You might want to draw your fib. Been to the 886, hit our first profit target, double topped, got a little liquidity sweep there. And now I do believe that we're heading back to that 50 Fibonacci level. And that's kind of confirmed because it played out precisely. Got a double top. I don't think that is a liquidity sweep. 152.89. Yeah, it is 153.13. So got a liquidity sweep, headed right to the 50. What else should we look at? Let's look at Tesla. Now, this is interesting. Tesla has been battered in the news. So the fact that it is basically on the 200 moving average on the daily and the weekly is really interesting. Of course, we have our bullish divergence. Downward sloping on the oscillator. Upward sloping on price is bullish divergence. So just note that. Let's take a peek at the monthly. Actually going to move this fib. We've taken out our 0.5. So I'm just making some observations and trying to make some or draw some conclusions about what price action is telling me is the next move on this chart. So I'm going to kind of flip my fib. Been to the first profit target. And now when you flip the Fibonacci, we are back at the 50 level. Stochastic is still bearish here, but approaching bullishness here. So it does seem like in the near future, we may get a pop on Tesla and an opportunity to take a call to 296, which is reasonable for Tesla. Has basically a $20 ATR, $19.57. You can see down here in the red in the bottom left corner, or even possibly up to about our 21 moving average and our 0.71 fib at 325. So I have done or created a pared down watch list. And it contains the MAG7, the Qs, so the short QQQ, I think tech QQQ is in here. This is another thing that you guys can trade. For those of you that don't like how expensive the QQQ contracts are, you can take opposite trades on SQQQ, or you can trade the same direction with TQQQ. So what I mean by that is if we call a put on QQQ, you can take a call on SQQQ, always at the money. And if we're short QQQ, you can take that as an opportunity to short TQQQ. TQQ is tech. Let's see if it aligned yesterday. And it did exactly what QQQ did, where it rocked back and forth until it eventually gave a decent low and then reversed. And this is exactly what QQQ did yesterday. So I will be narrowing my focus and looking more at, number one, I think it's important now to narrow my focus. And number two, looking more at the indices and some of the MAG7 stuff, because I do think that those are a great barometer for what other things will be doing in the market. As far as, so I've got my 87564 level even lower. I do kind of think that given that, having been to the 0.5, almost the 618 level, had these strong bounces with this thing coming up. I think it's tomorrow on the 7th. They're supposed to have this meeting or this talk about the crypto, whatever it is, crypto team that's coming out of the White House. There's a potential that we'll trade back into these higher fib levels. As you can see on our daily, we double bottomed off of our 200 moving average, which is typical, something that I've been maybe not directly, but definitely pointing out to you guys to look at as a trading signal, a solid and consistent trading signal. And so there is the potential that we may make it back into this higher fib level. But as you can see, we struggle to take out that 108 level. Next level is 125. Okay, 123. Struggle to take out that level from mid-December up until now. So for what that's worth to you, I think that we will see I think that we'll see about $1.50 on XRP. There is nothing. So 2 reasons that I talk about this. I think that Bitcoin is a barometer for the market, just as QQQ and SPY are. I know that some of you guys are involved in XRP. And again, I am highly interested in what Walt is doing with Folk Finance and the Para wallet. So maybe we'll look at Algo as well. But again, we're in this zone. And here's where I would use channel. Just to show you the consolidation that has been occurring in this zone. Outside of this zone, there's really nothing stopping us in either direction. This is supposed to be straight and straighter to show you the consolidation that's been happening in here. But if we get outside of this zone, there's really nothing stopping us other than news on either side. So back at the daily, if we get back below this zone, and obviously this is support, but if we get back below here, over here to the left, there's nothing but just decent sized green candles. So theoretically, you would get decent sized red candles, and the first real support would be your 200 moving average right around $1.50. So that's my premise for saying that I think we will get to $1.50 again on XRP. And I'm going to end this video here. I'm not sure if we will be going live this morning, but even if we don't do that for the public, I wanted to make sure that you guys had some insight into what I will be doing and looking at today and what my thoughts are on the overall market. So again, I'm going to end the video here and get this out to you guys and start to read some news. And if there are any, I'll be looking at Lunar as well. Let's just do that real quick. If there are any important updates, headlines or anything like that, I will make sure that you guys get them in the chat. But we've bounced off the 886, and again, the landing is supposed to be today. I want to show you how that move developed. So this is a daily chart. The launch was in here, and so you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It took 8 days for it to peak. And you can go check to see if the landing was on the 21st or not. I'll be doing that as well. Because if this was the day of the landing, that means that our peak may be today. But then it retraced back over another 4 days, basically. So That's the story on Lunar. It did not shoot up in one day. It is a kind of an expanded move. And so I'm going to be going to look at some news on Lunar, check out their YouTube page and see what's going on with that. And I'll see you guys in the market.